There's a document making the rounds among Ford technicians and independent mechanics right now, and it's the kind of internal paperwork automakers usually keep far away from public view. It's not a marketing brochure or a glossy spec sheet. It's a technical service bulletin, the kind of document Ford issues quietly to its dealer network when a known problem needs a fix, without ever putting out a press release admitting the issue exists in the first place. And when you start pulling the thread on how many of these bulletins exist for Ford's engine lineup and how specific some of the language inside them is, it paints a very different picture than the one you get from a Ford commercial. Today we're going through what's actually in these documents, which engines and model years show up again and again, and what it means for you if you're driving one of them. What a technical service bulletin actually is. Before diving into specifics, it helps to understand what a technical service bulletin, or TSB, actually represents, because the term gets thrown around online without much context. A TSB is an official communication from the manufacturer to its dealership network describing a known issue with a specific vehicle, system, or component, along with the recommended diagnostic steps and repair procedure. These are not recalls. A recall involves a safety defect that the manufacturer is legally required to report and fix at no cost, with public notification requirements. A TSB is different. It's essentially the automaker telling dealers, "We know about this problem, here's how to fix it when a customer complains," without any obligation to proactively tell owners the issue exists at all. This is exactly why TSBs matter so much to owners who know how to find them. They represent Ford's own internal acknowledgement that a specific problem exists on a specific engine or model, documented in enough technical detail that a shop can diagnose and repair it accurately. The frustrating part for owners is that unless you happen to complain about the exact right symptom to a dealer who bothers to check for an applicable bulletin, you might pay for the same diagnostic process from scratch, or worse, get told nothing is wrong because the symptom hasn't become severe enough yet to trigger the fix under warranty. These documents are technically available to the public through the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's database and various subscription services that aggregate manufacturer bulletins, but they're written in dense technical language, buried under model-specific codes and scattered across thousands of individual documents, which is exactly why most owners never see them, even though nothing about accessing them is actually illegal or hidden in a conspiratorial sense. Each bulletin typically includes the specific vehicle identification number range it applies to, the exact symptom description technicians should look for, the diagnostic steps to confirm the issue matches the bulletin rather than some unrelated cause, and the approved repair procedure, along with any updated part numbers. This level of specificity is exactly why these documents are so valuable when you can actually find the right one, because it removes the guesswork from a repair that might otherwise involve hours of diagnostic labor billed to you before a technician even identifies what's actually wrong. The engine families with the most documented issues. When you look at which Ford engines generate the highest volume of technical service bulletins relative to their production numbers, a few families stand out consistently. The EcoBoost line, particularly the 1.6-liter and early 2.0-liter turbocharged four-cylinder engines used in vehicles like the Escape, Fusion, and early Focus models, has a well-documented history of coolant intrusion issues. The bulletins describe a specific failure mode where coolant can migrate into the combustion cylinder through the design of the cylinder head, and in a percentage of cases, this can lead to hydrolocking, meaning the engine physically can't turn over because a cylinder has filled with liquid that isn't compressible the way air and fuel are. Ford extended warranty coverage on some of these engines specifically because of how consistently this pattern showed up in the field. The 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, used across the F-150, Expedition, and various Lincoln models, has its own documented pattern involving the timing chain and the tensioners that keep it properly seated. Multiple bulletins describe timing chain stretch and noise complaints on higher mileage examples, along with revised parts and procedures for addressing chain-related rattling on cold start. This doesn't mean every 3.5-liter EcoBoost will develop this issue, but the volume of documentation around it suggests it's a known enough pattern that Ford's engineering team has revisited the repair procedure more than once. The 5.4-liter Triton V8, an older engine used across a huge span of Ford's truck and SUV lineup for over a decade, is probably the most infamous example of a documented, well-known issue that took years to become common public knowledge. The spark plug design on these engines, combined with the aluminum cylinder head material, created a scenario where plugs could seize in place over time, and removing them for routine replacement risked snapping the plug or stripping the threads in the head itself. Ford eventually revised the plug design and issued specific removal procedures to reduce the risk, but the underlying design issue affected an enormous number of vehicles before it became widely known outside of shop circles. The 1.5-liter EcoBoost, used more recently in vehicles like the Escape, Bronco Sport, and Maverick, has its own emerging documentation trail around cylinder head cracking under specific operating conditions, along with a separate set of bulletins addressing oil dilution from fuel entering the crankcase during short-trip, cold-weather driving cycles. This oil dilution pattern is a good example of an issue that isn't really a manufacturing defect in the traditional sense, but rather a byproduct of how the direct-injection turbocharged engine behaves under a specific and fairly common real-world driving pattern, which is exactly the kind of nuance that gets lost when people talk about hidden engine problems in broad strokes, rather than understanding the actual mechanism behind them. It's worth being precise here, rather than painting every engine with the same brush. Not every Escape or F-150 will experience these issues, and the existence of a bulletin doesn't mean a defect rate anywhere near the majority of vehicles produced. What the bulletins tell you is that Ford's engineers identified a specific failure mode common enough across a wide enough sample of vehicles to justify a formal internal fix and documentation. Some of these bulletins apply to a narrow window of production dates, tied to a specific part supplier issue that was corrected mid-cycle, while others describe a more fundamental design characteristic that persisted across the entire production run of that engine. Beyond the engines, transmission bulletins tell a similar story. Engines aren't the only place this pattern of documented but quiet issues shows up. Ford's PowerShift dual-clutch automatic transmission, used in the Focus and Fiesta for several model years, generated an extensive volume of bulletins related to clutch shudder, hesitation on takeoff, and premature clutch wear. The technical documentation describes revised clutch packs, updated software calibrations for how the transmission control module manages clutch engagement, and in some cases, extended warranty coverage specifically because the volume of complaints reached a level that triggered a formal customer satisfaction program. Owners who experienced jerky, hesitant shifting in these models for years before the extended coverage was announced often had no idea a documented fix already existed, because the symptom was frequently dismissed during earlier service visits as normal behavior for that transmission type. This matters for the broader picture because it shows the pattern isn't isolated to one engine family or one type of component. Whenever a specific part or system generates enough field complaints across a wide enough range of vehicles, Ford's engineering and quality teams generate internal documentation and revised repair procedures, well before that information becomes common knowledge among the general public. The gap between when a bulletin is issued internally and when the average owner learns about it can stretch for years, and in some cases that gap only closes because independent forums and enthusiast communities did the work of aggregating and cross-referencing bulletin numbers that would otherwise sit unnoticed in a searchable but obscure government database. Why this information stays buried? None of this means Ford is doing something illegal or uniquely deceptive compared to other manufacturers, and it's worth being clear about that up front, because every major automaker generates TSBs for their engine lineups, and the practice itself is a normal part of how the auto industry handles known issues that don't rise to the legal threshold of a safety recall. What makes it feel like hidden information to owners is less about active concealment and more about how the system is structured. Dealerships aren't required to proactively tell you a bulletin exists for your vehicle unless you bring in the matching symptom. And even then, whether it gets applied under warranty often depends on your mileage, your service history, and sometimes the specific service advisor you happen to get that day. There's also a financial incentive built into the system that owners rarely think about. Warranty repairs performed under a TSB are reimbursed to the dealership at a different rate than a standard customer pay repair, and manufacturers set time limits and mileage caps on which repairs actually qualify. This creates a situation where a vehicle just outside its powertrain warranty window can develop the exact symptom described in a bulletin. But because the coverage window has technically closed, the owner ends up paying full price for what is, on paper, a known and documented issue with an already established fix. None of this requires any grand conspiracy to explain. It's simply a byproduct of how warranty economics and dealer incentive structures work across the entire industry, not just at Ford. But understanding that these documents exist and that they represent real engineering acknowledgement of specific failure patterns changes how you should approach a problem with your own vehicle rather than assuming every issue is some kind of fluke unique to your particular car. There's also a legal and regulatory dimension worth understanding, because it explains why Ford issues bulletins the way it does rather than simply fixing everything under a blanket program. The threshold for a mandatory recall is tied specifically to safety, meaning a defect that creates an unreasonable risk of injury or death. Many of the issues described in engine and transmission bulletins, while expensive and frustrating for the owner, don't meet that legal bar because they affect drivability, reliability, or cost of ownership rather than immediate safety. This is exactly why an issue can be well documented internally, covered under an extended warranty program for some owners, and still never appear as a public recall notice, because the regulatory framework simply isn't built to catch every category of known defect, only the ones that cross into safety territory. How to actually use this information as an owner. The most practical thing you can do with this knowledge is learn how to look up bulletins for your specific vehicle before you ever set foot in a service department. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration maintains a public searchable database where you can enter your vehicle's year, make, and model and pull up every bulletin Ford has issued for it, completely free of charge. Doing this before a dealership visit means you walk in already knowing whether your symptom matches a documented pattern, which changes the entire conversation with the service advisor from "something feels off" to "I believe this matches bulletin such and such. Can you check if it applies to my VIN?" This matters even more once your vehicle has aged past its bumper-to-bumper warranty but is still within an extended powertrain coverage window, which on most Ford engines runs considerably longer than the base warranty. Coolant intrusion issues, timing chain concerns, and certain transmission bulletins have, in various circumstances, fallen under extended coverage windows that owners didn't realize applied to them until they specifically asked. The difference between accepting a quoted repair at face value and asking a dealer to check for applicable bulletin coverage can be the difference between a several $1,000 bill and a covered repair. It's also worth keeping detailed records of any symptom you notice, even minor ones, along with the date and mileage when you first noticed it. If a pattern that matches a known bulletin develops gradually, having a documented history that predates the expiration of a coverage window can occasionally support a case for goodwill coverage even after the technical deadline is passed, particularly for issues Ford has already acknowledged internally through a bulletin. Since dealerships have more flexibility to advocate for a customer when there's a paper trail showing the problem existed within the coverage period, even if the repair happened slightly after it. Independent shops are often a better resource than dealerships for this kind of research, somewhat counterintuitively. A dealership's service department is generally only incentivized to look up bulletins tied to active warranty coverage, since that's what gets them reimbursed by the manufacturer at a set labor rate. An independent shop that specializes in Ford vehicles, on the other hand, often has years of accumulated experience with the exact same bulletin patterns, without any of that same incentive structure shaping which issues they mention to you. Many experienced independent technicians already know the common failure points for specific Ford engine families by heart, and asking them directly whether your symptom matches a documented pattern can save you the step of searching the database yourself. Online owner communities and enthusiast forums for specific Ford models have also done a lot of the aggregation work already, compiling lists of relevant bulletin numbers, common symptoms, and even reported outcomes from other owners who pursued coverage for the same issue. While anecdotal reports from forums should never replace an actual bulletin lookup, they can point you toward the right search terms and bulletin categories far faster than starting from scratch, especially if you're not familiar with the technical terminology Ford uses internally to describe a given failure mode. What this means going forward. None of this is meant to suggest you should be afraid of buying or owning a Ford. Every manufacturer has a version of this same story for one engine family or another, and Ford's more heavily documented issues tend to be well understood by independent shops and enthusiast communities at this point, which actually works in your favor as an owner, because the diagnostic and repair knowledge is mature and widely available rather than being some brand new mystery. What this information does is shift the balance of knowledge slightly back toward you as the person paying the bill. rather than leaving you entirely dependent on whatever a single service advisor decides to tell you on a given day. Before your next major repair conversation with a dealership, spend the 10 minutes it takes to search your specific engine and model year against the public Bulletin database. It costs nothing. It takes less time than the average oil change, and it might be the difference between paying full price for a repair Ford already has a documented fix for and getting that same repair covered because you knew the right question to ask. If you're currently shopping for a used Ford rather than dealing with a problem on one you already own, this same research applies before you buy, not just after something breaks. Pulling the Bulletin history for the exact engine and model year you're considering can reveal whether you're looking at a vehicle with a well-documented pattern of issues that may already be resolved through a prior recall or Bulletin repair, versus one where the same issue is still lurking ahead of you. Asking a seller or a dealership directly whether a specific Bulletin repair was ever performed on the vehicle and requesting to see it in the service history is a reasonable and increasingly common step for buyers who've done a little homework beforehand. The bottom line: Ford isn't hiding some secret conspiracy about engines that spontaneously fail without explanation, but the technical service bulletins the company issues do represent a real documented history of known engine issues that most owners never learn about until they're already facing a repair bill. Understanding that this system exists, knowing how to search the public database for your specific vehicle, and asking the right question at the service counter can genuinely change the outcome of a repair conversation. The information was never technically secret. It was just buried in a place most owners never thought to look. And now you know exactly where that place is.